Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever gone into Hustle Got Real, manually set a price, and then kind of wondered what happens behind the scenes? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on manual price adjustments. Turns out, it's a feature that is way more powerful than you might think. Let's break down what really happens when you set that price.
So let me just ask you this straight up. When you go into HGR and you punch in a new price for one of your products, does that price get locked in, like set in stone? You'd probably think, yeah, of course, right? But the reality is actually a whole lot cooler and way more useful.
All right, so to really get how this all works, we first have to talk about a super common assumption, what most of us, myself included, thought was happening every time we set a price.
So here's the myth. You think that by typing in, let's say, $200, you're telling the system, hey, make this product $200, period. And look, that totally makes sense. It's a really logical assumption, but it's just not how HGR is built to work. The system's actually thinking a couple of steps ahead for you.
Okay, so if it's not locking in that static price, then what in the world is HGR actually doing? Let's get into the good stuff, the core of how you can really master your pricing strategy on the platform. And here it is. This is the big mind shift. The reality is, you're not setting a price. You're setting a new, dynamic pricing rule. You're basically giving HGR a command, an instruction on how to price that product from this moment forward, all based on the profit margin you want.
And here's how that rule gets made. It happens in like a split second. First, the system takes a peek at the current cost from your supplier. Next, it does a quick calculation to figure out the markup percentage it takes to get from that cost to the shiny new price you just typed in. And then, this is the key. It saves that percentage, that markup, as the new rule for that product.
And this screen? You know this screen. This is where the magic starts, right here in the product editor. When you type that number into the Your Price box, you're not just plugging in a number. Nope. You're kicking off that whole three-step process and creating a brand new automated rule for your store.
Okay, theory is one thing, but seeing this with actual dollars and cents is when it really clicks. So let's just walk through a really simple example to see this pricing rule in action. Okay, take a look at this table. In the beginning, let's say your supplier's cost is $100, and you go in and manually set your price to $200. HGR instantly calculates that's a 100% markup and saves that rule. Now look at case A. Your supplier raises their cost to $120. What happens? HGR automatically applies your 100% rule and bam! Your price is now $240. Your profit is protected. Now case B. The cost drops to $80. The same rule applies, and your price automatically adjusts down to $160, keeping you super competitive. And you didn't have to lift a finger for any of it.
So think about that for a second. The crucial thing here is you only ever typed in $200 one time. But since then, your product's price has bounced up to $240 and down to $160, all on its own. How?
It's because HGR didn't remember the number 200. Nope. What it locked in, what it remembered, was the instruction, the relationship. In our example, it locked in that 100% markup, not the final price tag itself. And this screenshot from the editor, this proves it. This shows you exactly what the system is actually paying attention to. You might be focused on the Your Price box, but HGR's eyes are on that markup percentage field. That is the magic number it saves and uses to run things for you automatically. So as you can see, this isn't some weird bug or a glitch in the system. It's actually a feature, and it's designed on purpose to save you a ton of time and protect your business. Let's talk about why this is so incredibly powerful. First and foremost, it protects your profit margin automatically. Supplier cost goes up, your price goes up with it. You're not going to get caught losing money. Second, it keeps you competitive. Supplier costs dip, your price can dip too, and that might just win you the sale. And finally, it is pure automation. You set your desired margin one time, and then you can just trust HGR to be your little assistant, monitoring and adjusting things for you 24/7.
So if you only remember one thing from all this, please make it this sentence right here. It sums it all up perfectly. In HGR, manually setting a price tells the system what markup to use, and that markup is automatically applied whenever the supplier cost changes.
So there you have it. The secret's out. Manually pricing a product isn't about setting a number. It's about setting a strategy. You're basically the architect of your own pricing rules. So the real question now is, knowing this, how are you going to use this awesome feature to your advantage? Thanks for tuning in.